Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into a really strange paradox, how the very things that make a company successful can, over time, actually lead to its downfall. It's all about how we adapt, how we learn, and how we escape the traps that success, believe it or not, sets for us.
So let's kick things off with this kind of brutal thought from author Ries. He imagines this is the memo every successful founder eventually gets, even if it's just a voice inside their own head. You know that feeling? When the scrappy, fast-moving startup you built starts getting so big and complex that the old rules just don't apply anymore. All of a sudden, your role, your skills, they all have to change or they become obsolete.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem here, the scaling trap. I mean, just think about it for a second. The very habits that got you off the ground, moving super fast, taking shortcuts, you know the drill, those eventually become the exact things that start to weigh you down.
This creates this really powerful paradox. In the early days, it's all about speed, right? Get that minimum viable product out the door. But as you start to scale, the focus has to shift. It has to quality and building solid infrastructure. And if you ignore that shift, well, every little shortcut you took starts to pile up, creating this kind of technical and organizational debt that eventually slows you down way more than if you just built it right from the beginning.
The ultimate danger here, the place you really don't want to end up, is this idea called achieving failure. It's when you get really good at executing a plan that is fundamentally broken. You're hitting all your deadlines, you're shipping all the features, but you're just firefighting. You're treating the symptoms of a broken system instead of making any real lasting progress.
So, how do you break out of this cycle? Well, a really powerful answer comes from Taichi Ono at Toyota. He came up with this deceptively simple method for digging way past the surface-level symptoms to find out what's really going on.
It's called the 5 whys. And the idea is just so simple but brilliant. By asking the question why about 5 times, you can trace this chain of cause and effect all the way from some technical problem on the surface down to its root. And as we're about to see, that root is almost always a human problem.
Let's walk through the classic Toyota example just to see how it works. Okay, a machine stops working. First question, why? Because a fuse blew. Okay, why did the fuse blow? Well, the pump was overloaded. Why was the pump overloaded? Because the pump shaft was rattling around. And why was it rattling? Metal scraps got in. And now for the final, most important question, why were there scraps in there? Because someone forgot to attach a strainer. See that? In just 5 steps, we went from a machine failure to a simple human error.
Now that's a pretty straightforward mechanical example, but let's see how this thing plays out in the messy, much more complex world of a startup. This is where the 5 whys really shows its power.
So check out this real case from the startup IMVU. A new software release breaks a key feature. Why? A server failed. Okay, why did the server fail? Because some obscure subsystem was changed incorrectly. Why? Well, the engineer who made the change didn't know how to use it properly. Why not? He was never trained on it. And the final why wasn't he trained? Because his manager is too busy and frankly doesn't really believe in training. And just like that, a server outage isn't a technical problem anymore, is it? It's a management and cultural problem.
So here it is. This is the crucial insight. The 5 whys isn't really a tool for debugging code. It's a diagnostic tool for your entire organization. It proves that pretty much every technical problem, a server crashing, a bug in the software, is actually just a symptom of a deeper human problem, a problem with your process, your training, or even your management philosophy.
But here's the thing. Just using the tool every now and then isn't enough. To truly become an adaptive organization, you have to build an entire system around this idea. You have to create a culture that doesn't just fix problems, but actually learns from them continuously. And the key to making this whole system work is something called proportional investment. So instead of freaking out and demanding some massive 8-week training program because one engineer made one mistake, you make small, incremental investments at each of the 5 levels you just uncovered. A quick fix for the server, maybe a 5-minute conversation with the manager. If the problem is small, the investment is small. This is the antidote to that organizational debt we were talking about. It makes constant improvement feel manageable, not overwhelming.
Now, if you're going to do this for real, there are a few ground rules you've got to follow. First, you have to get everyone who's even remotely connected to the problem in the same room. And this isn't about assigning blame, it's about getting the full picture. You also have to be ready for some uncomfortable truths to come out. And critically, you need one person, a 5 whys master, who can lead the whole thing and, most importantly, has the actual authority to make sure the fixes you agree on actually get done.
All right, so we've seen the trap that success can lay for us, And we've looked at a really powerful system for adapting and getting out of it. So, what's the very first step you can take like today?
I want you to think about the last failure at your job. It could be anything: missed deadline, a customer complaint, a bug that shipped. Don't just accept the surface-level excuse. Try it out. Ask why 5 times. Keep digging past the technical issue until you find the human process behind it. That right there, that's your real starting point for building a truly adaptive organization.